It's Jay, Desiray, Kados. How's everybody doing? All right, I'm glad everybody's here.
Miss J.
Yay, week 3. So we're doing really good. We're doing really good. All right. Hi, Ken. Hi, Sam. Robert. Be glad everybody's with us today. Ken, did you get that that package yet? Because they did send it out last week for some of the resource packets. All right, so like I was telling Robert and Nikki, they have the final website for the Muskogee language program, and they are just getting all the latest tweaks, you know, check mark here, yes, somebody's seeing it over here, we're getting the approval done. So it's done and it looks really good. It's got all the resources on it and it's really easy to navigate. So whenever they give me the go ahead to release it, you know, I'll let you guys know the address and everything, and you can just jump on there and see for yourself what they have available. A lot of the stuff that was on the resources, you know, the little resource packets that I had at the in-person class and that they send out, that is online. So if you guys need any stuff, it's online for you guys to print it out. All right, so that's exciting. That's exciting. And let's see, on Friday, I was telling some of the learners that we are going to do the Honka stories, because a lot of the Honka stories, a lot of the monster stories that had been planned for the Muskogee Nation had been canceled because of the weather. So we're gonna do an in-person thing on Friday, and you're welcome to join us on Friday evening, 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Central. And there's I don't know the number, but there's a link. If you look on our Instagram, or if you call the main office, they should be able to give you the numbers. I don't have it on me. All right, so we're learning new things. See, we're learning future 2 tense, first person, and then we'll learn future 2 tense, second person, third person. Then we'll learn future 2 tense negation, first, second, and third person. You guys are doing so well. You guys are just following the templates and just learning. So you get 2 for 1 on module 5. You get to learn how to do something and how not to do something. But before we start, let's go ahead and sing our song and get our mouths ready to go and get the Muskogee, switch our brains from English to Muskogee. All right. Good job, guys. Good job. Always like to get our chops moving and our mind thinking in Muskogee. So I like to try to always start out in a song. I am actually in the process of getting our new song, Ayayis Holy Maimon. So that one is, let's see, I'm going there to heaven. And I've heard some people talk about some of our Muskogee hymns, and they're talking about religion and stuff like that. But, you know, our people were spiritual before contact. And sometimes I think this could be even before contact that, they would be singing hymns and stuff to encourage. So I don't see it so much as religion or trying to indoctrinate anybody. If you go to church and you have a religion that you practice, keep practicing it. But I'm not trying to, just throw anything at you. I'm just sharing with you what our people, even now today, we still sing these songs in churches and, all over the place. All right. So these are old copies of links that I had, and I just wanted to share these again because right now, like I said, you've got the hymn online. You see at the very top. So there's the copy of that. The Muskogee Media had some language classes. I know they're older, but you still learn stuff from there. You got your Muskogee language YouTube. You got your Google Drive right there. And you got your Old Creek Okanaga. That one, actually, you can just scratch that one off. That one is no longer available. This one right here is no longer available. So just scratch that one off because we have this new one right here, the Muskogee language program, Muskogee Okanaga. And that has a lot of the words of the day and everything. You've got the Instagram here as well and your online dictionary. So these are online dictionaries that I found, and if for some reason it doesn't go to where it needs to go, they might have changed the link. Anybody who works with computers knows that sometimes links get broken for no reason. Sometimes updates on any kind of computer will make things not work like they should or like they have been working. And I've come across that this weekend, so just kind of frustrating. I'm like, I didn't do anything. It won't log me in. How many of you guys have, your computer has the automatic login for your bank information? That was me. So my computer is so old. I think I had gotten it in probably 2010-ish. So it's old. I don't think it's old. It still works. Well, used to still work. And then I had my banking information on there. And this week it turned too old to actually get on my bank account. So I don't remember my password. Everybody's been there. So anyway, like I said, if some of these don't work, I do apologize. Like I said, some of these are okay. Yeah, these are good. These are all good. These all should be good right here. But I had put two of them on there that we had before, the old links. So it's in module 5, week 3. So you see that we've already gone through all of this. Let's go ahead and go to the previous week. So we're going back to module 2. Come on. All right, and then we're just going to review module 2 because in module 3, in class 3, I did add some new things. I did look to see, because we were talking about cranes in class. I did look to see this one.
Pushhadka, white crane.
So we were talking in class about pushwa. Pushwa is the name for a bird. Hudki is the color white. So one of the things that I'm trying to learn, and it's kind of hard to learn because everybody has their own way of doing things. But you see how pushwa is cut off and it's pushhadka. Well, pushwa is bird, so they cut it down to F-U-S, pushhadka, which is hudki. And then they added the instead of the E. So I'm trying to figure out why it's pushhadka instead of pushwa hudki. And once I find that information, I'll let you know. Also, we were trying to talk about how can you say more than one? Because in Muskogee, you don't just add an S like in English. And people that do add, to add an S, that's called Creeklish. They're mixing Creek and English. And we really try not to teach that so much because we want to try to maintain our Creek language. But you hear it when you're walking around. So pushhadka is white crane. So we were talking about pushwa. How do you make it plural? And all of the speakers, because I ran over there a few minutes ago, they're out and about teaching. So I will get that to you our next class Wednesday, because that is still on my mind and I'm still asking the questions. And I want to know, why is it hudka instead of key. You know, when I find these things out, I'll let you know. But one of the reasons why I wanted to put that on there is because we've got so many cranes flying around. And I know in the Seminole, you know, Florida, it's a sacred bird. So I thought that would be cool just to know, hey, you get to know what the names of cranes are.
Akjoka, crane.
Joka, crane. So you know that that's just a regular crane. And you know how like you've got a different name for red bird. I think they call them cardinals, bluebirds, and you know, all these birds. It's just the crane, the word for crane, you know, that can encompass all the cranes. You know, it's just a vague term for a crane. All right, just FYI, for some reason, I have no idea, but I cannot, when I hit on chat, it's not working. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Mado was thinking about that too. Yeah, so that's just a word for crane. And I think, you know, a lot of our words, they, you know, like this blue crane, Wutko Thako. Wako Thako.
Wako Thako,
Yeah,
blue crane.
So unless, you know, because I know for me, it's easier to teach my younger one the whole word for bird, Pushwa, instead of saying Oba, you know, Wako Thako. So once they're, you know, once we're starting out, we just use the term bird, but then, you know, you can go into further as soon as, you know, you're ready, or, you know, your grandchild is ready. All right.
How do you say Hadamaga? Is that how you say it again?
Which one?
Woga, wogo?
Oh, Woko Thako. Is that the blue crane? So remember the from the alphabet is and the V is Woko Thako.
Taco. Sorry.
No worries. Let me play it one more time for you so you can hear her say it.
Wako Thako, blue crane.
Woko Thako. So sometimes, like when I was talking before, the and the sound so familiar, you know, so similar. So Woko Thako. Remember the and then you hear Woko Thako. I think with what I've learned in the Muskogee language, that could also be an A. Just depends on, you know, who's talking. And just like Doc Leggy, you can have it TAK or TVK, Doc Leggy or Duck Leggy. You hear both of them. All right, so here's our new vocabulary words. All right, so abuiga, domestic animals. And I know we've had some of them before, but I wanted to sit there and point some of these out. So whenever we're doing our sentences, you know that what we're talking about. All right, the first one is Bozi. Second one, Iva, and that's cat. Iva, that's dog. Wiswa, bird. Chisi, mouse. Fujo, duck. Waga, cow. Taco, horse. Sokha, pig. Totolozi or Tolozzi's chicken. Let's let you hear the speaker.
Domestic animals, Aboika. Bozi, cat. Iva, dog. Bushwa, bird. Jissy, mouse. Fujo, duck. Waga, cow. Thako, horse. Shokha, pig. Dolosi, Dotolosi, chicken.
All right, so like I said, these are on the Google Drive, so whenever you want to hear it, they will be here. All right. So let's see where this one. But nada, non-domestic animals. You hear also people say wild animals. Istibaba, lion. Gotcha. Gotcha, tiger. Wutko isti, monkey. Loja. Loja, turtle. Yabolawagi, elephant. Chitto, snake. Lamhi, eagle. Holbada, alligator. Chufi, rabbit. Ijo, deer. Itho, squirrel. Nakozi, bear. Woodko, raccoon. Yaha, wolf. All right, see, you see on here, there's more than one way to spell some of these, and some of them sound similar, loja or loja, which is turtle. So, you know, there's, if you hear somebody say it either way, that's fine. All right, here's the speaker.
Istibaba, stibaba, lion. Gotcha, gotcha, tiger. Wutko isti, monkey. Loja, loja, turtle. Yobolawagi, elephant. Chitto, snake. Lamhi, eagle. Halbada, alligator. Juffy, rabbit. Ijo, deer. Itho, squirrel. Nogoshi, bear. Wutko, raccoon. Yaha, wolf.
All right, I know we've got more animals, and I will keep making new words because this is our last module for this year. So I'm just gonna throw a lot of new words at you guys. So you can sit there and play with them, you know, just use them like Justagi. I know Nikki, Robert, you guys were talking about that. Justagi, Giaja. You know, so I remember you guys have gotten that. So that's really awesome. You guys are using that. So whenever we have events and everything for the holidays, just try to sit there and use these words. All right, okay. Ooh, this is not what I was looking for. Oh my goodness, it's still not on there. Let's see if I can. Okay, so let me go ahead and let you guys read this real fast, and I'll try to put this on the Google Drive. It's not there right now for some reason. Right. All right, so looks like hopefully you guys can see this. So this disclaimer basically says there's more than one way to speak Muskogee. There's more than one way to spell Muskogee. There are different dialects and different regions that speak it and spell it different ways. And we're just trying to teach how a lot of our speakers are from Eufaula area, the Hannah area. So we're learning and we're sharing that way of speaking, but that's not the only way to do it. All right, so let's go ahead and see if this came on. Come on. Sometimes Google Drive will, okay. There we go. All right, so this is our new way to conjugate this time. So we are, like I said, future 2 tense first person. And for some reason it did not share my, you know how I make a pretty rules post, is just not sharing that right now, but this is close enough. We can work with this today. So in first person, there is L grading, but only with first person. Athi, to Athi. Okay, Hombida, and remember, Hombida is my favorite word because to me, that's family, and to me, that's the word for soul food for natives. You know, I could be wrong. I think they did say that there was somebody out of all of the speakers, I think one person said there was a different word for like soul food, but I think Hombida is more of my soul food because I love my family. I love to go out and eat with them. We sit there and we just laugh until our cheeks hurt. So just having a good time, and sometimes the food doesn't even have to be that great. It's just the company. All right, Hombida, to eat. You drop your ETB and creates the verb stem. There's your verb stem. So you went from Hombida, home. There's your verb stem. Add your person marker. So in this instance, we're going to add the person marker A. So A means I. So I is first person. You drop all of that down and you add the RE. Home, A, RE. And RE is the tense marker, means will. First person only, RE. Because, you know, of this rule here. Home, A, RE, add the declarative ending S. S in this case means the period because we are making a sentence. Homba, hombathis, hombathis, homathis, hombathis. Verb stem, home. Your person marker is A, which you go again, first person, which means I am doing something. Add your tense marker is the. Add your tense marker means will, and this is only in first person, the. And then add your declarative ending, meaning the end of the sentence. Hombathis, I will eat. Hombathis. So that's our new conjugation for this week and next week. And then, let's see, so this is third, fourth, fifth, and sixth will be not doing something. So I will not eat. So, all right, because you guys are doing so awesome. I haven't quite been able to make a template. I was doing 20 other different things today. But I will have a template on Wednesday, and you will see, you know, like I said, plug and play, plug and play. All right. So since we've got that one going, let me just see if I can show you. All right. That doesn't work. All right. So I don't have, let's see if I can annotate. Okay, no. So I'm still learning how to do this. This to me, it's new technology, but okay, there's some space. All right, so I will annotate and we will go step by step, just like if I had a template. Make sure that's okay. There we go. All right, so remember the rules. Ooh, goodness gracious, it jumped out of my hands. Okay, hold on. Oh, my goodness. It's been like that all weekend. Butterfingers. So first, remember, we drop ETB. All right. Number 2, add person marker, which means because that's the first person. Means I. 3, add tense marker. Okay, and this is means in the RE, it means will. And then 4, add your declarative ending. Ending, which in this case is going to be the period. All right. So I'm going to say, we're going to conjugate damgeta. TVMKETV means to fly. All right. So on this, first thing we do is drop your ETB. Get the TVMK. The next step is add your person marker because we're talking about first person. We're going to add the Add your tense marker, which right here is the. So this one, and then the last one is add a declarative ending right here, period. Tamgathis. Oh, sorry, yeah. There he goes. Tamgathis. Add the declarative ending. Yes, which means the period, Tamgathis. So this is basically saying fly, will, and this is the literal translation, and this is the English translation.
Thank you.
Will fly.
On the back wall too.
All right. Does that make sense?
Or just
These are the rules for two tense first person. Remember, when we do all of this in all of our conjugations, sometimes the majority of times, the only thing that changes is this one. Because right now we're talking about first person. We've got different it's for second person. All right. And then third person, remember, is placeholder, open and close parentheses. And remember, third person is she.
So we'll get going on pulling it all together, order, and get you back in the house. All right.
And we'll get to that. Like I said, I'm just showing you today exactly what we're doing for this conjugation. So I will fly. And then, we can conjugate hombida. I will eat. Conjugate nojida. I will sleep. And then anything else on our infinitive list, you can conjugate as, and like I said, I will have the template. So you guys can have that on Wednesday. We'll have the infinitive verbs. I'll put all the infinitive verbs in module 5 because we've had so many different modules. Sometimes going back and forth and looking for them is a pain in the neck. So I'll put everything in our module 5 template so you don't have to go searching for them. Let me do that. Search for them for you. All right, let me go ahead and do another one for you guys. And this is nojida. And I've seen nojida spelled 2 different ways. Let me go ahead and put. This is how I learned it in college. But I know that there's also a different way in the Green Dictionary. Nojida, to sleep. According to our rules, we drop your ETP. Remember?
I am a little nervous.
Nojida, so the NOC, Noj. And then the second rule is add the person. So this is your verb stem.
It's exciting for us.
I also see people say it's the root. All right, add your person marker, NOCA, because we're, like I said, this is the first person. A equals I am doing something. You add your tense marker.
NLB chooses people business provides you solutions.
So the means will. So I will do something. And then add your declarative ending. Yes. So S in this case means period. No, let's see. No Jothis. NOCARE. No Jothis. So I will sleep. And you see from what we just conjugated right here, so this is the sleep part of our sentence. This is the I part of the sentence. This is the will part of the sentence. This is the period right here, part of the sentence. I will sleep. So you see I will sleep. period. All right. Does that make sense to everybody? I know it takes a little time, and the rules are actually in the module 5. And for some reason, my my beautiful little rule paper is not there, but let me see, here we go. So again, this is what we're doing right here. This is the rules. Umbada, to eat, drop the ETB, verb stem, add your person marker, add your tense marker, because we will do something. That's what we're doing for module 5. We will do something, and then in a couple of weeks, we will not do something. And right here, verb stem, person marker, tense marker, the, declarative ending, s, umbates, I will eat. All right, so that was pretty much everything I have for you guys today. Like I said, I've got the templates that I'm working on. Does anybody have any questions? I know it's kind of a lot for some of us who have not been with us for the majority of modules, but I always put the rules out there, and I will make I do have a paper with the rules, if for some reason Google Drive is not showing it today. Does anybody have any questions? Since we have a little time, does anybody have any scary stories they want to share? I know on Friday we're going to share some scary stories. Does anybody have any honka stories? I know right now the cultural center or cultural office is having some honka stories. So if anybody has any honka stories, you're free to share right now, because we've got basically what we're doing right here. I've showed you guys, and I've given you guys the links for like the dictionary and some of our social media. Does anybody have any stories they want to share? Because I know this is, tomorrow is the last day of October. But okay, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Does anybody have a story they want to share? Okay, I can share a story then. Let me share a story. The story, and it's a honka story. And it was recent, within the last 10 years. We're military family, so we were stationed over there in England. It was an old, it's a brand new house, but you got to remember, it's old land. I forgot about that part. I thought, I'll be fine. It's a brand new house. Nobody's ever lived in it. Nobody's died in this house. So I was all excited. We went over there, and brand new house, first people to live in the house. And there was something running around in the front of the yard. And it's really kind of scary. It looked like a shadow ran across the front of the yard in daylight. So that's what freaked me out. I thought it was some guy with a hoodie. So I jumped out of the car and I ran after him. But the place he ran was a dead end, and there was no place for him to go. It just looked like a tall, thin guy with a hoodie and all dressed in black, but it was a shadow. So we were sitting, and I was like, oh my gosh, did you guys see that? We had a whole car of people. They're like, what are you getting out and running for? So I seen it. And then I think later that week, we were sitting in our dining room, and our enclosed backyard, that same shadow ran by again. And I was like, did you guys see that? Of course, they were all looking at me, so they didn't see it. But the same, I would say, but it's the same month. My son said, hey, well, it's a 2-story house, a brand new house. And I was upstairs with the family. We're getting ready to go to bed. And one of my sons was downstairs, and he goes, Mom. And I was like, what? Because I was upstairs messing with the little one, trying to get the little one to sleep. I was like, what? I yelled down the stairs, and then all of a sudden you hear it quiet. And you hear like boom, 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 boom. He comes running up the stairs. I was like, what's wrong with you? He goes, you were downstairs. I'm like, well, how can I be downstairs? I'm right here. So I said, well, what happened? Why did you think I was downstairs? He said, something was right there looking at me. And he said, it had yellow eyes. So I thought you were playing a trick on me. And he said, that's when he said, Mom. And then when he said, Mom, that thing growled at him. So he took off running upstairs. because he said, Mom, and then I said, what? I was upstairs and he took off running upstairs. He goes, something growled at me downstairs. So that's the story that we have for scary things. He heard it and saw it. And after, and you got to remember about faith and speaking to Hasaga Masih, the creator. After he told me that, so I was trying not to get scared. But after they went to school the next day, I took my Bible and I was praying and I walked through the whole house and was praying that the only thing that I wanted in the house was from Hasaga Masih. So I prayed and prayed. That thing never ran through our house again. So that was my story. Like I said, that was old land. We didn't see it in the house, but we would be on the second story, and in the back was nothing but natural land, because it was arranged for nothing but plants, and there was a lot of bunnies, and you would see it running around out there. So like I said, that was my story. Does anybody have any other stories they want to share? That one freaked us out.
I have one, Mvhayv.
Okay, go ahead.
So when I was younger, I was probably about 11. Me and my younger brother used to go spend the night at my grandparents' house anytime my little cousin was there sleeping over. And we used to just put sleeping bags in the living room and all lay down in the living room. And, my grandma used to always tell us, don't go knocking on walls or doors or something's going to knock back. And she'd also get on to us about, hey, don't be looking out the window so much like that. For someone's going to be looking back at you. And we used to kind of get scared, but we'd kind of laugh it off, And so this one night, me and my little cousin, we were on the back of the couch just peering out the window, and it was dark. And my grandma told us a couple times, hey, now knock it off before someone starts looking back at you. And we were looking across the street at our neighbor's house, because we used to like to play with our little neighbors across the street. And next thing you know, we thought we saw a man just standing there in the middle of her yard looking at us. And we couldn't really see his face. So we both dropped down, and started screaming. And my grandparents come running in and what's going on? And we said, Grandma, there's a man standing on your yard and he's looking at us. And she says, oh, I told you girls not to be staring out that window. And she turned the outside light on, looked out there, and she didn't see nothing. So that night we were too afraid to sleep in the living room after that. We all grabbed our sleeping bags and set up in my grandparents' bedroom along the bottom of their bed and on the side, like pushed up against the wall. And she told us, well, you girls brought that on yourselves doing that. So all of us had to turn all of our clothes inside out before we went to sleep, because she told us if you turn your clothes inside out, if there's a spirit or something out there watching you guys now, it's not going to be able to see you when you're sleeping. So boy, all of us ran into her bathroom and we turned all our clothes inside out and huddled up in her bedroom and slept on the floor next to their bed all night. We were so afraid. And after that, I never would just stare out the window. Even if she told me, hey, is your dad pulling up yet? Or did you hear a car out there? I'd tell her, I don't know. I don't want to look.
Right. Well, I've never heard of that, turning your clothes inside. Well, now that you mention, I do hear I remember somebody saying something and I thought they were just kidding, but oh my gosh, that's scary. I know, I had a friend, we were talking about it. She's Danae, and I guess they went to the Badlands of South Dakota, and her and her daughter, and the Badlands, there's a lot of honka stories about that. And she said they were out there walking around, and she said, hey, I'm just going to make some noise. So she started whooping to in the Badlands. The sun is going down. It's starting to get dark. And me and my daughter were freaking out. We're like, you never do that. So she was hooping and hollering, and so was her daughter. And then all of a sudden something hooped back at them. And they're like, they all ran to the car. They both ran to the car. But I was like, you guys never do this in the Badlands. I mean, that's not our ancestral homelands, but I do hear people saying in South Dakota not to hoop, not to whistle, like you said, knock. There's all kinds of stories like that. I'm like, why would you do that? Especially when the sun's going down.
I'm the same way too, because we were always told, not to whistle at night. Uh, and we used to be told a story about it was kind of like a creature that lived out in the woods, and it would whistle, and it had a beautiful whistle. It sounded like a bird melody, just real beautiful, like nothing else could compare. And kids would wander off following the sound of the whistle, trying to find where it was coming from, and then they just would disappear, not to be seen again. So we used to be told, don't go whistling at night.
Right.
You're calling on things to come out, and if you hear whistling at night, don't go looking for it, because it's meant to pull you in, and just stay where you are. Don't follow it, no matter what it sounds like. Just don't do it. But I've got a lot of the honka stories. My grandma, purposely to scare us, I think sometimes she used to tell us there was one in her bathroom, but she would tell us that so that we wouldn't dilly-dally in there, and because we'd all run in there and we'd take too much time spending in the bathroom. So she used to tell us, you stay in there too long, that honka's going to come out from behind the toilet, and it's going to touch on your ankles and scratch you. So we used to we'd hold it as long as we could, and then when we couldn't hold it any longer, we'd run in the restrooms, sit down real quick, do our business, and run out. And then she'd have to get onto us. You even wash your hands, go in there and wash your hands. We'd be so afraid to go and wash our hands because we thought we were going to get scratched on our ankles. And but there's a lot of them. My dad's a storyteller, and he tells a lot of stories about the Istijapko, and just a lot of them that we grew up with. But yeah, the one what hits close to me is when I was looking out the window after she told us not to. That stuck with me. It scared me so much. Anytime I was at her house, I was not looking out the window, even if she told me to after that.
Right. Oh my gosh, that is scary. Does anybody have another story? We've got a little time here, so anybody go ahead and unmute and just talk. Because these are some of the things that. Go ahead.
First, part of the story, I need to apologize. I missed 2 classes last week. I'm at a new home, and we're having some remodeling and work done, and I got so involved in some of that, I missed the classes. But
that's fine. Yeah.
in connection with that, I have a man cave where I have my computer. Like right now, I'm speaking to you. Across from me is a TV that I can watch. But I have a window here that was once an outside window, but now there's been a porch outside there that's been enclosed, and there's some high windows. But I'll be sitting here watching television, and all of a sudden I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I'm not really. It's not really that scary, but it's just startling.
Right.
I see some movement, and then I look. Oh, it's just the reflection of the TV in the window here.
Right. Oh my God. I've had that. And then the weird thing, and I've talked when I was in the military, and I was talking to this one lady, and she's like, what's really weird? She goes, in my house, she didn't have any pets. She would see a cat or a dog walk by, and she's like, I don't have a cat or a dog. And I was like, they must have lived there at some time, because she would see them walk by, and they're like, oh, I'm just walking by. But does anybody have any more stories? Does anybody have a story they want to share? My mom always told me, not to be scared. And that's easy to say, but when you see something walk by, you're just like, she said not to be scared, because the creator made you, and things can scare you, but they can't hurt you. That's what she always told me. So I always told my kids, if you see something, don't be scared. It can't hurt you, but it can scare you. And then once it scares you, you give off a different energy than being confident and I'm not afraid.
It's funny you say that, because my grandma used to tell us the same thing too, that it can scare you, but it's not going to hurt you. So if you really get scared and it's not leaving you alone, she used to tell us, you just ask it, say, what do you want? And it'll, usually it's not nothing bad, but boy, I tell you, I was always too scared that I always felt like if I was afraid of something, I'm not going to go asking what it wants. But she would tell us the same thing. She would say, it'll scare you, but it's not going to be able to hurt you, you know.
Right.
And if it lingers and it won't leave you alone, just ask it. Say, what do you want? But I never did get to the point where I would where I would say, what do you want? I just close my eyes and say, okay, just, you're not going to hurt me. Just leave me alone, and stuff like that. But we grew up really having a lot of storytelling and really feeling that there are spirits and things around us that you can't always explain, but they're there sometimes.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
actually got in trouble myself when I was in kindergarten because of that, because I told some stories to my classmates out on the playground, and the next day we had a whole bunch of kids in class that didn't show up to school, and I got called into the principal's office, and they said parents had called and said that I had scared their kids. Their kids weren't able to sleep at night, and they wanted me to apologize and tell the class that the stories my grandma told me were lies, that they were false. And I didn't want to say that. I refused to say that my grandma had lied to me. So my
Right.
dad, he decided, well, I can't keep you home from school, and they're not going to let you back until you apologize to class. So we're
Right.
not going to say that grandma lied. We're just going to go in there and say that we're sorry and you didn't mean to scare anybody. And then my dad talked a little bit about our culture and talked about how we share things through stories and lessons through stories. And now I know that not everybody believes the same things and it grows up the same way. So I'll keep my stories to myself. And thankfully they let me back in class with that apology. But I told him, I said, I'm not going to tell them that my grandma made this up or she lied. But he had a tactful way of doing it so I could be back in class.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's one of the things that, kids just share things that are shared with them. Does anybody have another story? Because I have a couple more. I'll let you guys share first. Anybody have any? Yeah, my mom always says, don't be afraid because they can't hurt you. They can scare you. So when that thing was running around our house, I first, of course, your instinct is to get scared. And I was like, it can't hurt me. So I was walking around in the dark to show that it couldn't hurt me. And I was praying. I was praying for myself and I was praying for my surroundings and stuff. And because I knew that if I wasn't afraid of it, then, it wouldn't give it any energy. So I would walk around praying for peace, that I was okay. My kids were okay. But I asked my son, my oldest, I said, when we were in this house, did you feel anything? Did you see anything? Because I always ask my kids, I'm like, even since they were little, if you see something, you let me know, because I want to be able to take care of it. And for those of us who are Stajati and who know some of our culture, is sometimes things can get attached to things. And so I would go garage selling or thrift store hunting and stuff. So I would say, hey, I got this. If anything happens or you see anything different, let me know. And then we can always get rid of it. But he told me, because I said, did you see anything? Did you feel anything? He said that he was sitting there playing video games. And he said, all of a sudden it felt like somebody was standing right here watching him. And he was in high school. And I was like, oh, well, what did you do? Did you get scared? He goes, no. He said, first of all, he's like, oh my gosh, someone's watching me. So he turned around, nothing's there. But he could feel somebody like standing right next to him. So I said, well, what did you do? He said, well, first of all, I got really angry that I didn't see anything there and I could feel it. So I turned around and he told it, go away, leave me alone. And he said, all of a sudden it just left. But like I said, these things can't hurt you. And even in the Bible, it says that God made the eyes to where they couldn't see everything. because it would scare us to death, literally. So there are things out there, even, stated in the Bible that we cannot see. Stajatis know that there's things we can't see, but there's some cultures who only believe if I don't see it, I can't touch it, I don't feel it, it's not there. Well, we know better. All right, so I have another story. We were on a mission trip to a reservation, I would say about 5 to 7 years ago. And it was the Montana reservation. And there's this, I guess it used to be a school. And now it's like a community center. So it's got all these little classrooms, and attached to it is the basketball court and then the cooking area. So it's all attached. It doesn't have any carpet or anything. It's been there for a while, so it's kind of dilapidated. And we were warned before we stayed there, because like I said, it was a mission trip, and we were staying there. We bought our sleeping bags and whatever we were going to sleep on. We were warned that there were things in this certain building, and some people would not stay there. This is our first time. My daughter was in high school, so we were excited just to be in a different state to do something. So we went over there. We all kind of had a different room. There was some of our families had like one room. Some of the younger ones had a different room. So there was like 4, 6, I think it was about 6 rooms. So we all kind of stayed down our little place. And I was laying there, and it was probably about 2 in the morning. And I just woke up. It's all dark everywhere except in the hallway where you can see light coming in, but it's all dark. And well, they kept telling us not to go into the bathrooms in the classroom area, but we had to go over there by the basketball court, because the ones in the classroom area each classroom had a bathroom that was connected. And we were not to use those because they were working on them, or they weren't working. So we were supposed to walk down the hall into the scary part of the basketball area, and then use the locker rooms to go to the bathroom. Well, like I said, it was like 2 in the morning, and I was laying there, and I seen this little girl walk by. She was, I would say, about 9 years old. She had long, pretty black hair, just all straight, little skinny girl. And she was looking at me. And I was thinking, why are you looking at me? Well, she walked into the bathroom, which they said not to use. And as she opened the door, the light was on, so you could see like from behind her. You see it's all dark, so you see from behind her the bathroom light shining, in back of her, and she's looking at me. And she keeps looking at me. She goes in and she starts peeking out the door, and I'm like, what is this girl doing at 2 in the morning bothering me? That's what was my thought. And I was like, and then she closed the door, and I was like, oh my God, she's gonna get in trouble because she used the bathroom. And I was like, oh, anyway, I dozed off to sleep, and because she kept looking at me a couple times. I dozed off to sleep and didn't think of anything about it. The next morning, I was walking around looking for this little girl. There was no little girl that looked like her. And all of our younger ones were high school or junior high. She had to be like 9 years old because she was small and thin. But I went to go look in the bathroom that she had come into. There was no light bulb. There was no light bulb. There was no way to turn on the light. The toilet wasn't even usable. There was like building materials all on everything. And so there was no way a light could have came out and shined from behind her. And she, like I said, she just kept looking at me a couple of times, and then she finally shut the door. So that freaked me out, because I was like, there's no toilet, there's no light, there's nothing in there. So that freaked me out. But that was one of my other ones. I've got several more, but they were talking about that certain building, and some of our youth had gone in there and used some of the locker rooms, because that's where we took a shower. And they were out there, they were getting dressed, and they were joking around, laughing around, and they were doing their hair, and they were laughing. And then all of a sudden, in the stalls where nobody was at, in the shower stalls, you could hear her laugh, like a little girl laughing, and they took off running out of there. So that was, like I said, that was a haunted place. And that's more than, I mean, there's more that happened just from that 1 week, from a few different people. Everybody in our group saw something except for one person. So I think there was about 15 of us. So something had happened. So that place was just freaky. But Does anybody have another story? We got about 5 minutes. But these are some of the stories that I grew up with, and like I said, my mom told me not to be afraid. But in the middle of the night, 2 in the morning, you just all of a sudden you get scared. But then you just kind of have to calm yourself down. And what I was telling my kids and what I was telling my daughter is, just pray for yourself. Pray, and if you need to, tell them, hey, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. But all right, so that's part of our culture, just to tell stories and to just pass down some of the wisdom and knowledge. And even if it's a honka story, I know our people are more apt to see things and to feel things than other cultures because we're more open. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, that was a good small honka story. And I will see, we will also have this again Friday in person on Friday. And we're gonna have a story time there because all the other ones have been canceled. All right, so Wednesday, I will have a template for you guys to go through for our new conjugations. I will try to get more infinitive verbs. All of our Mvhayvs are here and there, so we can learn more, and I'm going to throw more vocabulary words at you so we can know what we're talking about. I will answer the question on as far as the multiple cranes. Like I said, we don't add an S, and we were talking about Olgi. I've got to ask about that whenever I catch one of the Mvhayvs. I mean, sometimes you got to really catch one of the Mvhayvs. You're like, wait, come here. All right, so Mado, and I will see you guys again on Wednesday. And if nobody has any questions, I'm going to say, Madam, to get your God, please. I will see you all again. Mado.
Mvhayv.
Yes,
Mvhayv.
yes, go ahead.
I was trying to do my homework or whatever.
Okay.
And so on these sentences that you gave us,
Uh-huh.
I noticed that it has a T at the end, like Chugahayat.
Uh-huh.
What's the T?
The T means that that's a subject.
Oh, so it's just, when do you know to add the T?
That's something I'm trying to find because I'll ask one Mvhayv and then I'll ask about another Mvhayv, and it's kind of up in the air. I learned it as the subject is T, and I also learned that there's an N added on some ways. But then when I asked some of the Mvhayv here, they're like, "Wow, that's different. That's not how we do it." So when I don't share things with you, it's because they're more than one different way, and I'm trying to make sure that the way I learn it and the way I share it makes sense and is an acceptable way to do things.
Okay, because I was really it was throwing me off. Like I was like, is that plural? I was like, does that mean it's plural? But
Yeah, it
okay.
means subject. All right.
Next time I come in on Friday, will you go over them with me to see if I did them correctly?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, Mado.
All right. Hadam to you, God, please. I will see you all again. Mado.